Hi, I'm Joens, and as you can probably tell from the content I make, I'm a big fan of epic rap battles of history. So, I was inspired by these two posts on the ERB subreddit to make a comprehensive and up-to-date epic rap battles of history Iceberg video. I've got a lot of ground to cover in this video, so let's start at the top. Nice Peter and Epic Lloyd are the nicknames of the two creators of the series, Peter Alexis Shukov and Lloyd Leonard Alquist. Nice Peter is a pseudonym that Pete adopted when he started his live music career in the 2000s, based on the name of musician Pete Nice, and Epic Lloyd is a pseudonym that Lloyd decided to adopt after he had started the Epic Rap Battles of History series. In the first few videos of the series, he was just referred to by his name. Every rap battle in the series is emceed by the announcer, a faceless voice which starts each video by introducing the series and the rappers, and ends each video by asking who won, who's next, you decide. An interesting thing about the announcer is that he sometimes has a personality of his own. And although he is voiced by Nice Peter, he is often represented by stock footage of animals. Most of the rap battles in the series are live action. However, Zeus vs. Thor and Harry Potter vs. Luke Skywalker were animated in stop motion with Lego by Forestfire 101, who is the creator of the Duck Song, which gets a little Easter egg in Zeus vs. Thor. ERB2 is ERB's second channel, on which they upload behind-the-scenes videos, instrumental karaoke versions, and recently they've started uploading shorts where they discuss common suggestions for matchups. I will talk a little bit more about the content on ERB2 as I get to it on this iceberg. There are a lot of YouTube channels which have reacted to ERB. For example, Screwface John, someone who later got the opportunity to play Mansa Musa in Jeff Bezos vs. Mansa Musa. Starting with Barack Obama vs. Mitt Romney in 2012, ERB have released a rap battle based on the candidates in the US election every 4 years. The 2012 and 2016 rap battles feature Abraham Lincoln as a third-party rapper, and the recent 2024 election battle features Theodore Roosevelt. Over the almost 15-year run of the series, ERB has collaborated with a whole host of famous people. Internet personalities, actors, and rappers such as T-Pain, Snoop Dogg, and Jurassic 5's Charlie Tuna. Zach Sherwin, formerly known as MC Mr. Napkins, is one of the most prolific guests on ERB. He's also one of the head writers of the series, along with Pete and Lloyd. He also wrote some songs for Crazy Ex-Girlfriend on the CW network. Mary Doodles is another member of the ERB crew. She was responsible for costumes and props, and she made many cameos across the series. She's also known for her epic rap battles of history themed speed paints on her YouTube channel. Flash in the pan, hip-hop conflicts of nowadays. PewDiePie versus T-Series! So far, there have been 7 rap battles in the series which have been sponsored. Blackbeard vs. Al Capone, Robocop vs. Terminator, Ragnar Lothbrok vs. Richard I, Jeff Bezos vs. Mansa Musa, Lara Croft vs. Indiana Jones, Donald Trump vs. Kamala Harris, and Napoleon vs. Charlemagne. Diss Raps for Hire is a series created by Epic Lloyd, in which he writes and performs diss raps based on comments sent to him. Special guests on this series include Zach Sherwin, Nice Peter, oh I think I'm forgetting someone. Oh yeah, right, the RZA from Wu-Tang Clan. Ever since the end of season 2, 7 years ago, the series has been dead. The way that Nice Peter played Batman in Batman vs. Sherlock Holmes has been mocked and memed on by the community ever since that battle came out. This fact was referenced in Nice Peter vs. Epic Lloyd 2.
Like, dude, that is not a cool way to play Batman!
And they never got made fun of for their depiction of a comic book character ever again. Pete and Lloyd often say that they try to tailor their matchups so that they'll stand the test of time, and that they try to avoid flash-in-the-pan celebrities or media trends. But when they were inundated with requests for PewDiePie vs. T-Series, they decided to create a new series, Flash-in-the-Pan Hip-Hop Conflicts of Nowadays. Then they made 2 more, Ronald McDonald vs. the Burger King, and Big Bird vs. Larry Bird, the former being turned into a real ERB, featuring Wendy from Wendy's. This is probably the right time to talk about Naruto vs. Spider-Man and Elon Musk vs. Donald Trump, a pair of low-effort, unedited rap battles which were released on the ERB2 channel. ERB News is a series in which Pete or Lloyd voices a historical figure who gives updates about the future of the ERB channel. Most videos in the series start with the same iconic greeting.
What's up, bitches?
The Monday Show was a weekly vlog series made by Nice Peter, in which he'd sometimes give little hints about upcoming rap battles. They say that imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, so Pete and Lloyd must be very flattered, because there's a whole host of rap battle content on YouTube which is inspired by the ERB format. Many channels such as Whitney Avalon, KSI, Rooster Teeth, Animeme have all created rap battle series of their own inspired by ERB. Not to mention the fan-made rap battle, or FRB, community. Fight Markers, Snakebite126, Eddie FRB, just to name a few recent examples. A more classic example would be Video Game Rap Battles, a series created by Cam Steady. Eventually his series gained attention from the creators of ERB themselves, so they invited him to help write on Ash Ketchum vs Charles Darwin and Tony Hawk vs Wayne Gretzky. Another notable pillar of the community is Matt Foyer, who also made rap battles back in the day, but is more renowned for his Chisel This series, in which he breaks down and analyzes the lyricism of the ERB series. He was also invited to be a guest writer on Ash Ketchum vs Charles Darwin, as well as Donald Trump vs Hillary Clinton. To round off tier 2, let's talk about Freshie Canal, who is the creator of what is arguably the most popular fan-made rap battle series on YouTube. You might recognize it from the Mr. meme. Freshie Canal not only got noticed by ERB, but he managed to get Epic Lloyd to rap in one of his rap ciphers. And Dustin, also known as Freshie Canal, was invited to be a guest writer on Godzilla vs King Kong.
They say your father was a great man. You must be what's left. Need to stop hating on gays. Let them teach you how to dress.
Another pillar from the early days of the fan-made rap battle community is Epic Rap Battle Parodies, which had a rap battle between Mozart and Skrillex 3 months before ERB did it. So, when ERB released James Bond vs Austin Powers, another matchup which Epic Rap Battle Parodies had already done, they included a YouTube comment in the outro which says ERBP did it first, presumably referring to Mozart vs Skrillex. Dante Samadamore is Nice Peter's friend and bandmate, as well as being a former member of the ERB crew. He has played many roles over the first 5 seasons of ERB, including being the body actor for Nikola Tesla. In 2014, ERB and YouTube collaborated on 3 adverts which show their creative process of making the rap battles. One for Mozart vs Skrillex, one for Blackbeard vs Al Capone, and one for George Washington vs William Wallace. In these adverts you can see different ideas for matchups, as well as scrapped backgrounds and costumes. Epic Dance Battles of History was a short-lived series on the ERB2 channel, in which the characters have a dance battle to the audio of the rap battle. This series mostly just existed for a few battles in Season 2, with the one notable exception being Deadpool vs Boba Fett. You've probably heard of the hidden Mickeys at Disneyland. Well, ERB does something similar, in which they hide their own logo in the background as an Easter egg. For example, Superman's costume, or Moses' stone tablet, or Michael Jordan's jersey. If you want a comprehensive breakdown of every time they've done it, then click on this video where I break down all 19 rap battles in which they hide their own logo. After Hitler's death in Hitler vs Vader 3, the trailer for Season 4 of ERB shows Hitler's ghost being trapped by Adam and Jamie from the Mythbusters. This trailer puts a nail in the coffin of the Hitler vs Vader trilogy, as well as setting up the Season 4 premiere, Ghostbusters vs Mythbusters. The Patreon song was a rap song made by Nice Peter and Epic Lloyd in between Seasons 5 and 6 of ERB, in which they naturally announced that they were starting a Patreon.
We can start a Patreon! We start a Patreon! We start a Patreon! We got a Patreon!
They also teased a future matchup, the Red Baron versus the White Death, which they're now finally making 6 years later. For a long time, there was a joke going around on the internet that ERB had the power to predict the result of the US election, since the winner of the election was always on the left side of the thumbnail, and they never had the first verse in the rap battle. However, this pattern changed in 2024 when Donald Trump won the election again. He was on the left side of the thumbnail, however, he also had the first verse in the rap battle. I also made a video about this topic if you want to see it. There are 4 rap battles in the series that don't have a behind the scenes video at all. John Lennon vs Bill O'Reilly, Nice Peter vs Epic Lloyd 2, and then the 2 most recent election battles, Donald Trump vs Joe Biden, and Donald Trump vs Kamala Harris. Epic rap battle, Rhett vs Link, is an oddity because you'd think from the title that it's an ERB ripoff, but it actually came out before the first ERB. Now there are two explanations for this. Number one, it's a coincidence. I mean, the adjective epic was very commonly used on the internet in 2010. And the second possibility is that Nice Peter was inspired by Rhett and Link when coming up with the title for his new series. Annoyingly, when Nice Peter went on Rhett and Link's Ear Biscuits podcast, they teased it up as if they were going to talk about that topic, but then never talked about it. So the real answer is still up in the air. But ERB and Rhett and Link have collaborated many times. Pete and Lloyd appeared in one of Rhett and Link's later rap battles, Epic Rap Battle of Manliness. Over 8 years after the original video came out, they released a re-edited version of Hulk Hogan vs Kim Jong-il on the ERB2 channel. You can see that they used some takes that were never present in the original rap battle. The heroin joke is a running gag in the behind-the-scenes videos on ERB2, which was started in Gandalf vs Dumbledore, where Lloyd, while wearing the Gandalf wig, went up to the camera and said,
"You wanna buy some heroin?"
This joke continued until it was retired in the behind-the-scenes of Rick Grimes vs Walter White. Lloyd has said that he retired the joke because he didn't want to normalize such a dangerous drug. However, the existence of the joke has been referenced since, such as in Diss Raps for Hire and in Freddy Krueger vs Wolverine.
Global, my stripes glow at Chernobyl. Kids explode and get mobile. No one even knows you. I'll make the whole world move. You play community theater. I get your same fame from home on a blown out speaker.
ERB have appeared in YouTube Rewind 4 times. A clip from Albert Einstein vs Stephen Hawking was featured in the 2011 one. Then Pete and Lloyd appeared in the 2013, 2014 and 2017 YouTube Rewinds. Pete and Lloyd have also collaborated with the YouTuber Screen Junkies in their honest trailer video for the Lego Movie. Sometimes in the outro of a rap battle, they will leave a teaser of just a few frames, which teases what the next rap battle will be. The first time that they did this was at the end of Nice Peter vs Epic Lloyd, where they gave several visual teasers for Season 2, including a teaser for a rap battle that never actually got made, King Henry VIII vs Hillary Clinton, featuring Karl as Henry VIII. Now, ERB released the audio of the battle on their website, and Hillary Clinton's actress released a clip from the battle on her YouTube channel, but it wasn't until 2020 when they released the whole thing on ERB2. For its first 5 seasons, ERB was owned by a multi-channel network called Maker Studios, a company which was founded by Karl, Lisa Nova, and Kasim G, among others. In 2014, the Disney Corporation acquired Maker Studios, which means that for a few years, Epic Rap Battles of History was owned by Disney. This was up until the end of Season 5, after which they took a 2-year hiatus from the series and came back as an independent production. That's why they started a Patreon. Sometimes when ERB goes on tour, they will let someone from the audience come up on stage and rap with them as one of the characters. One of these fans was named Walter Downing. And Pete and Lloyd were so impressed by his rapping ability as William Shakespeare that they later invited him to play Winston Zeddemore in Ghostbusters vs Mythbusters. Comedy duo Key and Peele appeared in 2 rap battles on the ERB channel, but Epic Lloyd also appeared in a sketch on Key and Peele's show. The sketch is called Rap Battle Hype Man, in which Lloyd plays the MC. You can see that due to his improv background, he doesn't break character even though everyone else in the background does. Another time that ERB appeared on mainstream TV was in 2014 when an episode of Jeopardy featured a question about ERB. The second SpongeBob movie, Sponge Out of Water, ends with a rap battle between Bubbles the dolphin, voiced by Matt Berry, and a group of seagulls. This rap battle was written by Nice Peter and Epic Lloyd, and they and the movie's director Paul Tibbett voiced the seagulls. Pete and Lloyd also made a physical cameo in the movie as some surfer dudes. And here's some information I found while researching this video that I've never seen anyone else talk about. In the UK and Australian releases of this movie, the seagulls are voiced by different people. In the UK version, they're voiced by Alan Carr, Stacey Solomon, Casper Lee, and Joe Sugg.
Why is this guy so mean?
Because he's older than a fossil.
All alone up in space.
Yeah, that must be awful.
And in the Australian version, this seagull is voiced by a young Robert Irwin, son of Steve Irwin.
Yeah, that must be awful.
Due to a change in policy by the Recording Industry Association of America, which counted YouTube views as streams of a song, many songs on YouTube were given a gold record, including 11 of the epic rap battles of history, starting with its most viewed video, Barack Obama vs. Mitt Romney. In 2013, Pete and Lloyd performed Mozart vs. Skrillex on stage, but with a twist. In the middle of the performance, the real Skrillex comes on stage and performs Skrillex's second verse with Epic Lloyd. This performance was part of a YouTube publicity stunt called Comedy Week. Sadly, over the years there have been 6 famous people who have died after being portrayed in ERB. Both Macho Man Randy Savage and Kim Jong-il died within a year of the rap battle's release. They were followed by Muhammad Ali, Stephen Hawking, Stan Lee, and Grant Imahara. There are 2 battles in the series that have misspelled title cards. In Darth Vader vs. Hitler, Adolf is misspelled, and in Ebenezer Scrooge vs. Donald Trump, Ebenezer is misspelled. Also, in the behind-the-scenes videos of Billy Mays vs. Ben Franklin and Zeus vs. Thor, you can see misspelled title cards for Billy Mays and Zeus, which I suppose got fixed at some point during production. Many of the celebrities that have been depicted in ERB have responded to their battles on social media, including Donald Trump, Stephen King, David Copperfield, and Gordon Ramsay, to name a few. If you want to see a breakdown of all 23 celebrities who have seen themselves in ERB, then click on this video that I made. In 2020, Dan Bull and the Stupendium collaborated on creating a Lego vs. Minecraft rap battle, featuring Nice Peter singing the chorus, and Epic Lloyd coming in at the end representing Lego Minecraft sets. The Gregory Brothers, also known as Shmo Yoho, are a YouTube channel which turn viral videos into remixes. They also make bespoke remixes for YouTubers. In this case, they remixed an episode of ERB News with Teddy Roosevelt.
Work hard, keep your head in the game, and if someone gets in your way, tell them you don't give a damn.
It was released on the ERB channel to celebrate them reaching 6 million subscribers. In the behind-the-scenes video for Mario Brothers vs. Wright Brothers, Nice Peter said that they made the first 3 rap battles for only $50 each. However, this is likely not an exact figure, since in an interview a bit later he said this.
We had a really small budget to start with. I think we made the first one for about $200.
So, you know, there's no way of knowing the real figure, but the point he's making is that they made the first 3 rap battles very cheaply. Now let's talk about these 4 scrapped verses which were cut from their rap battles. God was intended to have a verse in Adam vs. Eve. Ronald Reagan and Bernie Sanders were intended to have verses in Donald Trump vs. Hillary Clinton, and Bernie Sanders was also considered for Donald Trump vs. Joe Biden. Edward Scissorhands only had a cameo in Freddy Krueger vs. Wolverine, but he was intended to have a whole verse of his own. And Nathan Drake had a little scrapped verse in Lara Croft vs. Indiana Jones. 4 days before John Lennon vs. Bill O'Reilly came out, Nice Peter released a censored version of the rap battle with a clickbait thumbnail and title.
Why don't you just take a vacation and shut the f*** up?
The Annoying Orange YouTube channel had its own short-lived ERB parody series, Epic Rap Battles of Kitchenry. However, unlike the rest of the ERB knockoffs, it actually featured Nice Peter and Epic Lloyd, both playing food parodies of real rappers, Eminem and Big E Fries. For a brief period after Darth Vader vs. Hitler came out, it was banned in some of the countries that Hitler invaded, such as Germany, Italy, and Poland. Epic Lloyd has said that the controversy surrounding the ban actually helped the video's popularity.
If you're out there doing crime, you'll get wrecked, sir. I'll make sure it shows up on your permanent record.
God, you're as soft as that cat up your tree. You're no match for a criminal mind like me.
Pete and Lloyd did 2 AMAs on Reddit, one of them in the middle of Season 2, and the other at the start of Season 3. In the late 90s, Lloyd and his friends dropped out of university to start an improv troupe, and they called it Mission Improvable. After about a decade of performing around the country, they opened MI's West Side Comedy Theatre in California, and this is actually how Nice Peter and Epic Lloyd first met. Lloyd and his friends were hosting a house party, and while they were freestyle rapping on the porch, Nice Peter joined in. The whole idea idea of ERB actually came from Lloyd's improv troupe. He and Zach Sherwin had a segment called Celebrity Rap Battles, where they'd ask for some suggestions for celebrities from the audience, and then they'd perform a freestyle rap battle between those celebrities. When Pete heard this idea, he liked it so much that he invited Lloyd over to his place, and they recorded a demo of a freestyle rap battle between Michael J. Fox and Chucky from the Child's Play series. Another demo that they recorded was Betty White versus Betty Page. However, this was years later, and it was intended to be an epic rap battle of history. They first announced the existence of this demo in a Smosh Games video. Then Lloyd released the audio on a live stream. In 2019, a channel called Rhyme Combinator released a rap battle between Alexander Hamilton and Satoshi Nakamoto, centralized versus decentralized currency, where Hamilton was played by Epic Lloyd and Satoshi was played by Tim Chantarangsu, a frequent ERB collaborator. Surprisingly, my research found that the connection between ERB and the Warp Zone runs deep. One of the Warp Zone's members, Michael Schroeder, was a helper and an assistant editor on the first season of ERB, and another member, Brian Fisher, appeared in the background of Gandhi vs. Martin Luther King Jr. The Warp Zone as a whole has a writing credit on Gandalf vs. Dumbledore, and Epic Lloyd appeared in 2 of the Warp Zone's music videos. A now deleted parody of Lady Gaga's Born This Way about the X-Men, in which he played Charles Xavier, and the Superman rap, which features a rap battle between Superman and Lex Luthor, played by Lloyd, which is ironic since Lloyd played Superman in ERB. Alex Farnham, who played Justin Bieber in Justin Bieber vs. Beethoven, released the Jack Sparrow rap on his YouTube channel, Mockstars. This video features Nice Peter as a cameo. In 2013, President Obama invited many online creators to the White House to promote his Affordable Care Act. Among these creators were Hannah Hart, the Fine Bros, Nice Peter and Epic Lloyd, and Alpha Cat, who played Obama in the rap battle. There was an episode of ERB News, which has now been deleted from YouTube, which featured the real Hulk Hogan. This episode of ERB News featured Nice Peter as Hulk Hogan and Epic Lloyd as Macho Man Randy Savage and Andre the Giant. The video is a promotion of Hulk Hogan's YouTube channel. Epic Studios was a 13-episode musical comedy series created by Epic Lloyd, in which some of the songs were also written by Zach Sherwin, and it features famous comedic actor Kevin McDonald.
You should all probably just give up and kill yourselves.
Dave McCary was the executive producer and editor of the first 2 seasons of ERB. Nice Peter credits him with being responsible for the series' visual style and for designing the ERB logo. At that time, he was part of a sketch comedy group on YouTube called Good Neighbor, alongside former SNL cast members Beck Bennett and Kyle Mooney. Guy Fawkes vs. The Joker is a fan-made rap battle which is well renowned by the community for being terrible. The lyrics are vulgar and violent and sometimes don't make sense and often don't rhyme. It's very unfortunate that a video with such a high production quality does not have the lyrics to match. It's so ridiculous that some people think that it's just a very well done satire. Before we get to tier 7, I'm gonna do a lightning round of stuff I forgot to put on this iceberg before I started editing this video, such as the many different types of content made by the ERB fandom: covers, remixes, parodies, compilation videos, ranking videos, YouTube poops, video essays. As this person in the comments pointed out, there are dozens of matchups that Pete and Lloyd have talked about but have never actually gone into production. Another thing I noticed is that when Pete and Lloyd are talking about the series, they call it the Epic Rap Battles of History.
Good news! The epic rap battles of history are returning!
Hi, we're the Epic Rap Battles of History! Ooh,
Yeah!
I guess they never dropped the definite article, like Facebook. I've mentioned several members of the ERB crew throughout this video, but there are so many more that I haven't mentioned. Atul Singh, John Nah, Cecily Jenkins, Morgan Christensen. There are too many for me to even attempt to name all of them. A couple of years ago, Pete and Lloyd created an online class on studio.com which teaches how to write and record a rap battle. The Epic Rap Battles of History series is actually 2 times Emmy nominated. It was nominated for Outstanding Short Form Variety Series in 2016 and 2017.
Metí tanto goles que perdí la cuenta. Asume que no tiene madera de leyenda. No hay rivalidad, ni siquiera es un duelo. Estoy en lo alto y vos tirándote al suelo.
On an episode of The Monday Show, Nice Peter revealed that the third rap battle, instead of Abe Lincoln versus Chuck Norris, it was originally supposed to be iPhone versus BlackBerry, but this idea was scrapped, and we're likely never gonna see it again. Before I continue, I'd like to issue a content warning. If you're squeamish about seeing blood, then skip to this timestamp. Last year, a video went viral on social media of what appears to be a stabbing incident, but when watching the video, people on social media quickly realised that the apparent stabbing victim was rapping Mr. T versus Mr. Rogers before it happened.
When my legs are together, you won't even see it come. I'll chop you into 4 black dudes and I'll remake you rhyme.
Thankfully, the video does not show the stabbing itself, but by looking at the aftermath, I can assume that it wasn't fatal. On a lighter note, let's talk about the bonus tracks on the CDs. For the first 5 seasons of ERB, they released physical CDs each season, and there are many different types of bonus tracks on these CDs, including live concert recordings, remixes, and early demos of rap battles. Nice Peter cites Mortal Kombat as one of his inspirations for the concept of ERB. He also says that he was inspired by the movie Idiocracy for the voice of the announcer.
Bigger and huger than everything ever before in history. The brand new Passover. Give it up for King Supreme.
However, that voice has shifted over the years. Epic rap battles of higher education history might possibly be the most obscure item on this iceberg, since it barely has over 600 views. Basically, what it is a keynote speech by Lloyd and his wife, Dr. Josie Alquist, in which they do a live rap battle between a scholar who pursued higher education, played by Josie, and a university dropout, played by Lloyd. Spanish rap battle, Cristiano Ronaldo vs Leo Messi, is a video created by Javi Sanchez Blanco, who is an editor on the ERB crew. He's the one who edited the re-edited version of Hulk Hogan vs Kim Jong-il. This rap battle is also notable because it features Pete and Lloyd as unspoken cameos, Pete as Luis Enrique, and Lloyd as Zinedine Zidane. Epic School Battle is a YouTube video created by Sam Macaroni, who played Rufus in Lewis and Clark vs Bill and Ted. This video was created to promote the creative arts in schools, and it features an insanely star-studded cast. Jane Lynch, Steve Tyler from Aerosmith, Kiss, and most importantly, Epic Lloyd. Lloyd's appearance in this video alongside Jane Lynch gives him a Bacon number of 2, since Jane Lynch was in the movie 8 with Kevin Bacon. For a short period, Sarah Palin vs Lady Gaga was removed from YouTube by the copyright holder. Some people suggest that it might have been Lady Gaga herself that made the decision, but there is really no evidence either way to suggest that. On the Pop My Culture podcast, Lloyd said that the original plan for Nice Peter vs Epic Lloyd was for Lloyd to play Nice Peter and for Pete to play Epic Lloyd.
We did Nice Peter versus Epic Lloyd at the end of season 1, and we used it to essentially introduce the new rap battle channel, because it used to be on Nice Peter's channel. And then, but when we first thought about it, we were like, what if we did the Epic Lloyd versus Nice Peter, but we had Pete play Lloyd and Lloyd play Pete? Like, swap them. It was so weird, though.
And finally, in a 2015 episode of The Late Late Show with James Corden, Nice Peter and Epic Lloyd performed Mozart vs Skrillex. Sadly, the YouTube upload of this performance has been deleted, so I'll leave you with Pete and Lloyd's reaction to seeing themselves on TV.
Filming. Yeah. These guys.
Thanks for watching. I put a lot of time and effort into this video, so I really hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments what other YouTube channel you'd like me to make an Iceberg video on. Make sure to like and subscribe if you want to see more of my content in the future. And in the meantime, you can click on this playlist to watch my ERB breakdown series.